Your content sucks. You suck. Alright? Your content is not interesting. Your content is not good. Your content is just nonsense. Okay? I'm not gonna listen to your content anymore. I'm not gonna go online. I'm not gonna search for your brand. I'm not gonna search for your name. I'm not gonna search for your channel. I'm not gonna search for your product. Your content is gone. Gone from my mind. Alright? Now, if that's you, okay, or you heard something similar describing about your content and the kind of content you put out for marketing or for giving value to your audience, you need to watch this video. You need to watch the clip that's going to come after this, because in that clip, I'm going to break down for you what makes good content, how to structure your content, how to make sure that you don't do all the bad things that other people do for your content, so that when people come to your channel, people come to you for advice or for some value, you are able to offer real, genuine value. Okay, so watch the clip. See you inside. Hello everyone, welcome back. Alright, it's Jaffet from Rubik's Academy. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is very close to heart to me personally. And I believe it will be a topic that will resonate with a lot of you out there. If you want to be a power giver, if you want to propagate knowledge, if you want to teach, if you want to give content, this is probably one of the questions that you're going to face in your journey as a power giver, right? Giving power to people, giving knowledge to people, right? That's the term that I coined, for probably people who teach, because you're not just a teacher, you're not just a trainer, you're not just a tutor. Those are technical terms that, yes, we use in the app, but in actual fact, you guys are actually power givers. You guys are giving power to people, especially when you propagate important knowledge, right? You don't just give knowledge, you don't just transmit knowledge, you are actually giving and bestowing power upon people. So you have the power to give people power. And in this very technologically advanced age, your power is yours to command, and it can easily be a power that is amplified by so many times over with the proper equipment, with the proper channels, with the proper distribution methods. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what is considered good content. What is considered good content? And I think a lot of people, they want to know what is considered good content. So I'm just going to write and explain to you guys how consumers who consume content, how they determine what is good and what is bad. Okay. Now, based on all my years of teaching and based on what I see on the app, because so many trainers sign up with us, we have so many vendors, I can see that there are probably different types of trainers, right? But I always see some common patterns of good trainers. Okay, but before talking about good trainers, let's talk about the bad trainers first. Let's talk about the common patterns that I see among bad trainers. When I say bad, I don't mean ethically bad or morally bad. What I mean is bad content. Okay? Number one, their content is literally copied and pasted. Okay, wait. Copy, pasted word for word from other trainers. Now, there is nothing wrong with copying, or I call it modeling. I like to call it modeling, not copying. Okay, there is nothing wrong with modeling your content after the content of another person. I think I'll address that in one of my first videos, the why or the who. Okay, it's okay if you are in a field where you are training similar content as compared to another trainer. It's totally fine. In fact, the two of you could have similar content, but you cannot copy the other trainer's content word for word. Alright? Invent your own terms. Come up with your own technical wordings for the content you're teaching, right? Because you want to make it yours. You don't want to make that content another person's content. You want to make that content your content. So do not copy and paste word for word. That's not going to help you. That doesn't help you in building your own branding. That doesn't help you in terms of the law as well, because technically the other guy can prove by way of chronology that he invented the content first. So he can sue you for plagiarism. I don't think anybody wants to be sued for plagiarism. So don't copy word for word. Right? Model, don't copy. Number two is this. Another common pattern that I see among the bad trainers is that they are lazy. Now, one of the major differentiating points between good content and bad content is the amount of work that is put into it. Okay? Alright? Now, when I say lazy, what I mean is you do not research, you do not bother to do your homework before you turn the camera on. That is what I mean by laziness. Okay? Maybe you bother to do the homework when you're writing down your curriculum. Alright? You bother to do the homework when you are trying to impress people, to sell to people. Maybe you bother to do the homework during your free class, whereby you give them 1 or 2 chapters free, but you may want them to sign up for the full course. Up to you. Okay? Now, maybe you did your homework for those periods, for those different occasions, but you did not do your homework when it comes to actually delivering the real content. You start to get lazy because you know that they already signed up, you know that they already paid. Alright, so you start to get very lazy about the way you present your content. Okay? You start to get super duper lazy. Now, here's the thing, okay? If, for example, let's say you don't do the due diligence on your content, you will also lack the confidence to deliver the content when you are supposed to deliver it. Laziness will invite uncertainty. These two things, these two elements always go hand in hand, place in place. Okay? They come together. So don't be lazy. Alright, that's the second common pattern that I see among trainers with bad content. The third pattern that I see is lack of examples. Now, there's a reason why the word exemplify means explain, right? And the word exemplify comes from the word examples. Good content must be accompanied with case studies and examples. Why? Examples are there so that you can resonate, so that the person can relate to what you're teaching. If everything you're teaching is in theory, in paper, people cannot relate. People don't know how it is their business. So you need examples. Now, the second thing about a lack of examples is you tend to be very far-fetched. You tend to be unable to prove a point when you have a lack of examples in your content. Alright, for example, alright, if you talk about quantum physics, right, and you don't bother to give examples of how quantum physics is being used in real life, now that will also somehow dampen the morale of your students, because they have no idea how this particular thing they are learning right now applies in real life. Quantum physics is everywhere. I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you examples. But if you just go to Google and Google examples of quantum physics, I'm sure there are 1,001 examples out there. Okay? If you don't give examples and you just go on blabbering about a theory, people are gonna find themselves asking themselves why they are learning this topic. Examples bring you from the book to the hook. Alright, it brings you from the world of writings and words to the real world. So that's why you need examples. If you are teaching a non-academic subject, like for example, you are teaching finance, wealth, health and wellness, nutrition, if it's all about theory and you don't show real life examples of people following your diet plans and they manage to slim down, you don't show the fatty levels, all that, you don't show photos of a good liver versus a bad liver, before and after, things like that, you will not be able to show a point as well, and people will not have confidence in what you teach. So examples, you need to have them. Okay, now these are the three main hallmarks of bad content. Now what are the hallmarks of good content? Okay, now besides being the opposite of what I just said, obviously good content will be the total opposite of what I just said in the bad content characteristics for the bad content. Now besides being the opposite, there are other things that will accompany good content. Number one, structure. Now look at teaching, look at propagating knowledge like building a tower. Okay, like building a tower. So when you build a tower, your base needs to be super wide, it needs to be very firm. Okay? Alright, or I think instead of looking at it as a tower, you can look at it as a pyramid. I think a pyramid is a better, would be a better structure to exemplify what I'm trying to say. Okay? So you have the base. Now the base is where you spend the most amount of time building. You can see that it's the widest. The width of the base represents the amount of time that you need to spend on the student. Because when they come in, they don't know anything. So if you don't educate them properly on the foundations, they will not be able to proceed to the next level, which is here. Okay? So in the next level is where they go for the more advanced knowledge. Okay, so the foundation needs to be there. Now what I'm trying to illustrate with this little pyramid figure is that your content needs to have structure. Go from the basics to the advanced and from advanced to expert. Don't jump straight into the expert queue unless you're catering to the audience. If you are catering to a general audience who don't have any knowledge, start from the basics of the basics of the basics. Okay, a good test, a good litmus test of whether your basic is basic enough is to teach someone like your mom or your dad. If they can understand you, if they can start to absorb the knowledge efficiently, it means that you have structure. It means that you're going basic enough. Okay, and then of course after advanced you have the practical layer, right? So this is just an example, right? You go from foundation knowledge to advanced knowledge. For advanced knowledge, you go to application, right? Application is always the hardest because now you have to practice what you preach. You have to practice what you learn. You have to put it into real life, right? For example, let me give you an example. Back in primary school, I will always feel very confident when my teacher is teaching me a new concept on algebra or on probability, secondary school mathematics. I will always be very, very confident. But the moment the worksheet comes and everything's a blank, I don't know how to answer the questions. So that right there is an example of the difference between theory, learning the theory and applying the theory. Okay? So if your foundation is not strong, your advanced knowledge will not be strong. If your advanced knowledge is not strong, people will not be able to apply. When people cannot apply, they will not get results. When they don't get results, it means your content is not as good as you think it is. Alright? The second hallmark of good content is transparency. What does this mean? Okay? Transparency basically means to always teach both sides of the coin. You always have to teach both sides of the coin. Okay, let me just wipe this out. I'm sorry, I realize I have very bad handwriting. Okay, you always need to teach both sides of the coin. For example, I also teach in blockchain technology. I'm a techie. I'm a tech enthusiast. I'm a learning enthusiast as well. That's why that's why I started Rubik's, right? Because it's ed tech. Blah. Okay. Anyways, transparency is needed for good content. If, for example, I teach blockchain. So when you teach blockchain, you cannot just focus on the advantages of blockchain. You also have to teach the disadvantages. Now, this may seem common sense and this may seem logical, but trust me, a lot of trainers do not do it. They are so enthusiastic, they are so zealous about the content that they teach that they forget that they need to teach the other side of the coin as well, which is the bad side of the coin, you know, the flip side of the coin, right? What is not so good about what you're teaching. You need to teach that part as well, because that is what makes good content. Most of the time in life, we don't need to know what works. We need to know what doesn't work. Honestly, what does not work is actually more important than what works, because there's a lot more things that don't work compared to the number of things that work. Alright, let me give you an example. Probably if you're watching this video, if you're of a certain age, probably you would have a partner in life, right? A life partner, a spouse, if you may. Alright, now, before you knew your spouse, for most of you, alright, again, there are outliers for every equation, but for most of you, I'm guessing that your spouse is not your first girlfriend, is not your first boyfriend, right? I'm guessing that. Of course, there will be people who are outside of this equation, but for most of us, your other half is not the first other half that you met in life. Now, so eventually, why do you get married to your current spouse? Because along the way, you met other people, or you encountered other couples, and slowly but surely you start to understand or know what you do not want with your life partner, what you do not want in a life partner. Everybody has this thing called a value system, right? There will be certain values that you prize above other values. Okay? So over time, you'll discover what you prize as your core values, and what you prize, or what you absolutely detest. Okay? What you absolutely detest in a person. So that is why after knowing what you do not want, slowly but surely you start to see what you want. After you take out, it's like a method of elimination, right? You eliminate all those things that you don't want, then you know what you truly want in your life partner. Okay? So same thing. If you don't teach the other side of the coin with your content, like for example, if you're teaching blockchain, you need to also teach the weaknesses of blockchain, the disadvantages. If you don't teach that part, it's not good content, because people are blindsided. People start to think only the good and not the bad. Then when they start to apply, they cannot successfully apply that technology because they don't understand the shortfalls. Okay? So structure, transparency, and number 3, good content is always accompanied by passion. I know some of you are going like, duh, of course I know that, Jeffet. Now, again, I know it's common sense to have passion, but common sense may not be so common. Some of us, we teach, and over time we become jaded. We become jaded for a multitude of reasons, right? We could become jaded because something happened to us in our lives. We could become jaded because we have grown accustomed to the remarks that are thrown at us. We have grown accustomed to the keyboard warriors that are typing bad comments. We have grown accustomed to the competition, or to the vicious competitors that we have. Now, whatever it is, you become jaded. But do not let that jaded state take away your passion. Because, like it or not, the people who are consuming your content, the learners of your content, they can sense it. They can sense whether you have passion in what you teach, whether you have passion in what you propagate. For example, if right now I'm teaching like that, you need to have passion, and after you have the passion, you'll be able to have more students, and it's definitely better. Versus if I teach like that with passion, you can definitely enrich your learners more. Now you can see the difference, right? Of course, this is an exaggerated scenario. I go from like that to like that. Now obviously for most trainers, they do not go from like that to like that. in 2 seconds. They don't, but they do it gradually over time. And that's the most scary thing about change. When change is gradual, you tend not to notice it. But by the time you do notice it, it's too late. So if you sense yourself losing passion, the best way to sense yourself losing passion is to get feedback from your learners. They will tell you how they feel, right? This is where keyboard warriors are really useful. As long as they don't come with a malicious intent, but they are real learners, as long as they are real learners, they will start to type in the comment section and tell you that you are losing passion. They will tell you, let them be the judge, as long as they are a neutral judge, right? As long as they are a neutral judge, okay? So those are the bad things, common bad things of bad content. These are the good things of good content. So make sure that you have all these things covered. All right, it's been a very long video, 19 minutes. I'm so sorry, but whenever it comes to Power Giver and the videos for the Power Giver series, I always overrun because I'm so passionate about this topic of making everybody a power giver. All right, so again, my name is Jefford. If you want to be a power giver, don't worry, it just takes you less than 10 minutes to become a trainer on Rubik's. Of course, here's the major disclaimer. Speed is important, but quality is even more important. All right, if you do sign up as a power giver, if you do sign up as a trainer, as a tutor, make sure that your content is ready. We can help you to structure the content, but you must have the passion, you must have the content, you must offer real value. All right, thank you very much. My name is Jefford from Rubik's Academy. Thank you.